Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AM News on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Jumai Manson. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and free-to-air Nicomsat. Now the news in full. After a brief stay in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, Bola Tinubu has arrived Beijing, China, for his scheduled official visit. Tinubu's special assistant on social media to the president, Olusegun Dada, who made the announcement on his X handle, stated that Tinubu will meet with President Xi Jinping and hold meetings with Chinese business leaders on the sidelines of the Forum of China-Africa Cooperation. The president will also join the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation, where several African heads of state will present to engage with Chinese leaders on various important matters. As Edo State governorship election campaign continues to gather momentum, with all contending parties wooing electorate, former governor of the state and the chieftain of the All Progressive Congress, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, has urged voters in the state to be cautious to vote out the People's Democratic Party in the upcoming September 21st electoral over his alleged poor governance legacy and insensitivity to the plight of the people. Oshiomhole made the remark in an exclusive interview with Global Television in Benin City residents. Anthony Momodu reports.
As the 2024 Edo State governorship elections hot up, Senator representing Edo North Senatorial Zone at the National Assembly, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, has warned electorates against voting a candidate that is disconnected from the needs of the people with a questionable character. He charged voters to vote out the PDP due to the litany of bad governance weakness for 8 years.
They can't wait to sack this governor, and the man who was the chief economic advisor is brain box, who chaired the so-called Alagodaro, which is their, they set up to, draw up programs and long-term policies, etc., etc. They've seen through all of that. So Edo people want a guy they can connect, a home guy that they can relate with, that they can feel, they can touch, that shares their own experiences, that come from a community, of real people, of farmers. So you understand the problem of farmers, you understand the challenge of going to drink water from the stream in the 21st century with all the risk of waterborne diseases, etc., etc. So Edo people are clear, we have to vote away PDP. PDP has never developed this state. Before I came in, PDP would have developed the state. Everywhere we go, the only thing they have are the things APC government did while I was governor.
The former APC national chairman, Senator Adams Oshiomhole, called on the electorate to trust more the APC candidate, Senator Monday Okpebholo, to bring relief in the areas of health, education, security, and social welfare, assuring the people of good governance by the APC candidate.
Our candidate is not a stranger. He's just passed through ballot box January to March 2023. So his people voted for unanimously in his land, and so he is not. He knows what the issues are. He has raised those issues in the course of his campaign, and he has been repeating them. They have to be careful about these people who don't live here. They just come at the eve of an election. They probably have never voted. They call themselves technocrats, and at the end of the day, they just feast on playing with, jargons and sophistry. MOUs, parading people of color of different parts of the world as investors. They've seen through all of those lies. Now what people want is not sophistry. They want practical governance. That if you build a road, people can carry their farm produce to the market. If you connect to a rural community, it does not require environmental impact analysis. All of those buzzwords they use to siphon money away, because the best way to steal money is through consultancy. But you don't see anything visible.
Senator Adams Oshomole posits that the panacea to re-election and support of any government is good governance, so it is hoped the interest of the people will always be put first. Anthony Momode reporting for Global Television.
Edo State off-cycle election campaign rallies got tinted with war of words between the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party over personal and government-related issues on the APC campaign train to Egaholo, Ise Community North, Ohowade local government area, and Uhem Ward, Ogoniki. APC candidates in the forthcoming election, Senator Monday Okwebolo, assured the gathered crowd and communities of the better life when in power. In the meantime, the upcoming off-cycle election, governorship election, Edo and Ondo State, is another litmus test for not only the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, security agencies, political parties and their candidates, but the electorate, especially as they choose who to cast their votes for as they decide who leads them in the next 4 years in the two states. Nigeria is set to deepen its bilateral relations with Indonesia as the second Indonesia-African Forum kicks off in Bali from 1st to 3rd September 2024. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, is leading Nigeria's delegation to the forum. Representing President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the forum themed Bandung Spirit for Africa's Agenda 2023 pays homage to historic 1955 Asian African Conference, also known as the Bandung Conference, which was hosted by Indonesia. The event marked a new era of solidarity and collaboration between the two continents. The federal government has issued a directive for the relocation of the Minister of State for Defense, Bello Matawalle, along with other military chiefs to the Sokoto exit due to security challenges, a development that has sparked widespread jubilation among residents. A cross-section of residents expressed their appreciation to the federal government for the move, noting that it demonstrates the government's commitment and readiness to find a lasting solution to the menace. A statement issued by Henshaw Ogobike, Director of Information and Public Relations, Ministry of Defense, stated that directive aims to rid the Northwest of the menace of banditry, kidnapping and terrorism. Over now to Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed has approved the appointment of Alhaji Haruna Yunusa Daniyaya, the eldest son of the late Emir, as the 17th Emir of Ningi with a first-class status. The announcement was contained in a statement signed and issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity to the Governor, Mukhtar Gidado. Bauchi State Government expressed its confidence in the new Emir's ability to continue the legacy of his late father in fostering unity, peace and development in Ningi Emirate and Bauchi State as a whole. Governor Mohammed prayed for the peaceful repose of the late Emir's soul and also extended his congratulations and prayers for good health, long life and a successful reign for the new Emir. Minister of Women Affairs Uju Kennedy Ohaniye has once again disrupted an event in Abuja that was organized without her consent and lacked a people-centered purpose. The incident occurred nearly a month after a similar action by the minister on August 8, 2024 in Abuja. During the previous event, which held without the ministry's approval, the minister stated that the organizer had been taken into custody by the Department of State Services, DSS, for allegedly impersonating the ministry. Over now to Ogun State Government has revoked the provisional license of 20 private orphanage owners operating the state due to non-compliance with regulations and law prioritizing the well-being and safety of vulnerable children. The State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development at Dijat Adeleye made this known during a meeting with the private orphanage owners at the ministry's conference room, Okemosun, Abeokuta, the state capital. Adeleye expressed displeasure over some private orphanage owners' activities, stating that state would not tolerate shady practices involving legal adoption, child trafficking, or maltreatment of children in their care. In a different development now, the chairman of Ogun State Independent Electoral Commission, Babatunde Osibodu, has reassured the public of the commission's commitment to conducting a transparent local government election slated for November 16th. Osibodu, according to a statement, made this commitment while speaking in a radio program at Ijebu-Ode. The Commission's chairman said he would adhere strictly to the guidelines as approved by the State House of Assembly in conducting the local election. The Conference of Speakers of State Houses of Assembly has assured a strong call to state governors to immediately comply with the constitutional provision for the direct disbursement of funds to state legislators. The Speaker warned that the failure to ensure financial autonomy could lead to a breakdown of government and emphasized the critical link between legislative independence and effective governance. The conference further noted that it recognized the need for further legal and institutional reforms to reinforce the autonomy of state legislators. The National Association of Nigerian Students has withdrawn its threat to protest against the National Emergency Management Agency following allegations of food distribution misconduct. The Student Association also announced its support for the agency after conducting its investigation, which found no wrongdoing by the agency. The association's Senate President Akinteye Babatunde in a statement said the decision to retract the planned protest came after a thorough fact-finding mission that revealed the allegations were unfounded. Oyo State Government announced that it had concluded oral interview sessions for 8,077 candidates in the recruitment exercise for teachers in the state. The executive chairman of the State Universal Basic Education Board, Nuseri Adeniyi, who announced this during a meeting with board members in Ibadan, the state capital, said the exercise had been concluded. Over 50,000 applicants registered on the official website of the board, while 45,827 sat for the examination, in which 8,197 candidates scored above 50 marks. A visually impaired widow and over 600 students of the ESM University, Benin Republic, and their parents have appealed to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reverse the ban on the institution's certificate in Nigeria. The students and parents, while fighting back tears, said they were shocked when they received news about the federal government's decision on the ESM University, Benin Republic. The undergraduates said withdrawing them from school when they were already making progress and after their benefactors had invested much in their education was tantamount to jeopardizing their future. The Federal Road Safety Corps has condemned unprovoked attacks on its officers, saying such actions will no longer be tolerated. The Commandant FRSC Road Marshal Assistant School, Shadem Plateau State, Yakubu Muhammad, stated this during the closing of a one-week training program for the Marshal Assistants. He said that the Corps will no longer tolerate unprovoked knockdown of its marshals while carrying out their duty on patrol. You're watching AM News on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. When AM News returns, CM's faith hangs in balance as Napoli declined strikers' reintegration. Details of these and more right after this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcasts of AM News. Thank you for staying with us. In business, Vice President Kashim Shettima has announced that Nigeria's healthcare sector reforms have attracted over $4.8 billion in potential investments in the country's healthcare system. He disclosed this during the commissioning and grand opening of the Sahed Hospital in Abuja, noting that the reforms are centered around four key pillars that include transforming healthcare governance, improving population health outcomes, unlocking healthcare value chain, and strengthening health security. He also commended the efforts of Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, particularly in boosting local production of medical supplies and expanding primary healthcare facilities across the country. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the federal government, through the Bureau of Public Enterprise, BPE, has reached an agreement with 3 Chinese firms to deploy 1.43 million electricity meters across the country. He stated that the signing ceremony was held at the BPE headquarters in Abuja, with TCN's chief executive, Sule Abdulaziz, who was represented by Ajiboye Oluwagbenga, the executive director of transmission service provider, and others. The lawmaker representing Badagry constituency in the House of Representatives, Sise Wilga, has assured his constituents that Nigeria's borders will soon be open for commercial activities by the current administration of President Bola Tinubu. Winga gave the assurance during the Badagry Stakeholders and Youth Engagement organized by his office. According to the lawmaker, the government is trying to see how they can mop up revenue internally. The Oyo-Osun Area Command of the Nigerian Customs Service has reported significant achievements in revenue generation and anti-smuggling efforts. The area controller, Dr. Ben Oromologo, disclosed this in Ibadan while briefing newsmen in the command's achievements between June 14th and August 29th. Oromologo stated that from June 14th to August 29, 2024, the command collected a total revenue of 18.08 billion naira, with 13.31 billion naira generated in June and July and 4.77 billion naira collected in August. On our foreign news now, Senegalese President Bassirou Diomaye Faye has asked for more European support to tackle instability in the Sahel as Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez wrapped up a visit to West Africa. The troubled Sahel states of Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger are plagued by jihadist violence and ruled by juntas who took power in string of coups since 2020. Military leaders in three countries have increasingly turned their backs on the West and have broken away from West African Bloc Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS to form their own confederation. Director of Primary Health Care at the Health Ministry in Hamas-run Gaza says polio vaccination campaign has begun in Gaza, while an aid worker said a large-scale rollout will begin on Sunday, coinciding with human interim pause agreed by Israel and Hamas. The vaccination drive was announced after Gaza recorded its first polio case in a quarter of a century earlier this month. An unspecified number of children received the first dose of the vaccination, which involves 2 doses, and it's administered orally at Nasser Hospital in the city of Khan Yunis. Airstrikes on Russian and Ukrainian border cities have killed at least a dozen people, bombardments that came as Kyiv dismissed its Air Force commander in a major military shakeup. Both sides also claim to have advanced on the battlefield Moscow in eastern Ukraine and Kyiv in a shock offensive into Russia's western Kursk region, with the fighting showing no sign of subsiding 2.5 years into Russia's invasion. The emergency service said at least 77 were wounded, including 18 children. Rescuers in Russia Far East has found no survivors in the wreckage of a helicopter that disappeared while carrying 22 people, most of them tourists. The aircraft went missing on Saturday after taking off from a base near the Vexet volcano in the Kalkatpa Peninsula. Officials said on Sunday that 17 bodies have been found so far. The area, a popular tourist destination, is famous for its active volcanoes. The cause of the crash is unclear. An Mi-8T helicopter that disappeared from the radar on Saturday was carrying 19 tourists and 3 crews. Israel pressed on with a large-scale military operation in the occupied West Bank for a 4th day as fans fight raged in nearly 11-month Gaza war. As clash and explosions persisted in the northern city of Jenin, the Israeli military said 2 Palestinians were killed while preparing to carry out bombings overnight in the south of the West Bank. Palestinian militants group Hamas, whose October 7th attack on Israel sparked the Gaza war, hailed a heroic operation at what it called a sensitive time during the Israel operations in the north. Iran's police force has dismissed the commander of a city in the northern province of Gilan after the death in custody of a detainee. Mohammed Mir Mousavi, 36, was arrested on July 22nd after being involved in a fight in Lahijin. Police said in a statement carried by the official news agency IRNA. The police said the station commander and several officers involved in the incidents have been suspended. In sports now, Napoli coach Antonio Conte has emphasized the club's consistency in handling the Victor Osimhen situation, stating that Nigerian forward will not be reintroduced to the first team. Conte addressed Osimhen transfer saga during a press conference following Napoli's 2-1 victory over Parma at the Stadio Maradona. Osimhen, who was left out of Napoli's Serie A squad, has been replaced by Romelu Lukaku. Throughout the summer, Osimhen was linked with potential moves to Paris Saint-Germain, Chelsea and Al Hilal, but none of the negotiations materialized into a deal. Big Brother Nigeria star and two-time Nigerian high jump champion Mike Edwards has made an entry into professional boxing, securing a victory against Jake Gurnish in his debut fight. The bout held at the Dublin Arena went all rounds, with Edwards emerging victorious by unanimous decision from the judges. Edwards competed in the Misfits Boxing Cruiserweight division, an organization led by English social media personality and Nigerian-born professional boxer Olajide Olayinka Williams, popularly known as KSI. Edwards' decision to join the Cruiserweight division marks a significant shift from his previous career in track and field. Still on sports, a resounding 2024 Olympics campaign saw the Nigerian senior women's basketball team, the Tigers, move up 4 spots from 12th to 8th in the latest FIBA working rankings released on August 29th in Switzerland. Nigeria, who retained their #1 in Africa, France, and Germany headlines, clambers as USA proudly retained top spot after taking gold at the Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament, Paris 2024, while several other nations also secured rises off the back of their great work at the showpiece event. The West African Giants, who jumped 4 places into the top 10 of the rankings, sealed a rookie group phase victory, ranked up 2 wins for the first time, and also became the first African nation men or women to compete in the quarterfinals of the Olympics. In a post on Frazaro Romano's ex-handle, when asked about the Nigerian forward to be reintegrated at some point, Kante stated that no player will be reintegrated. Kante said that those are out of projects will not be returned, insisting that the Italian side already made its choices and worked in one direction altogether. With the latest development, CM's hope of playing active professional football hangs in the balance, as Saudi Pro League could still be an option for the Napoli reject. And as we end the AM News on Global Television, here's a quick look at some of our top stories again. We brought to you that President Tinubu has arrived Beijing, China, where he is scheduled to meet Chinese presidents and business leaders. We also brought to you that Edo Gobble polls, APC tackles PDP, assures traditional rulers communities of better life. In business, Nigeria's healthcare reforms have attracted $4.8 billion investments. And in sports, Napoli coach Antonio Conte has revealed the club's decision against reintegrating Victor Osimhen into the club. And that's it on AM News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. Remember, we're on DSTV channel 365, Star Times channel 276, and free to air. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms by using the Global TV NG under the handles now showing on your screen. I am Jumai Manson. Thank you for watching. Good morning.